Come on in, sit next to me. Tell me how you been and spill a little tea. Share a happy grin and let your mind go free. Everybody wins, keep it light and carefree. It's just a thoughtful exchange. We're engaging our brains about the arts here in town. Get the word going round. So come on in, sit next to me, and sip a little Fort Dodge tea. Fort Dodge tea, a thoughtful exchange about the arts. Thanks for dropping by.
We are back. It's episode 20 of FDT. This is like double digits, but the second round.
I know. I was just thinking, remember when it was 10? And we were very excited.
I'm still excited. I don't know about you. This is super fun because we are actually at your office.
Again. Yep.
Yes, which I've been here a few times. This is always kind of great. There's nice artwork on the walls. I love it. It's beautiful. By appointment only to come in here and check out some of the art?
Pretty much. Yesterday we had a book signing with an author and a reading. So that was pretty cool. And we had some people just stop in and check it out. So
that's awesome. That is awesome. All right, so check the community calendar for events coming up here and elsewhere. Who do we have with us today, Shelly?
Okay, well, I'm very excited about our episode 20 today. I usually let them say their names, but I'm not going to. Today I'm going to introduce them. We have returning veteran to the FDT podcast, Buzz Powers, over there on the end. Say hello, Buzz.
Hello.
Episode 1 legend, I like to say.
I thought for sure you were going to say hello, Buzz.
I don't. That's been done to death.
Okay. You thought about it. And then next to me, we have Midwest legend. We're going to get into his career, but Larry Mitchell is joining us today. So thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
On this 90th year of your life, this is your first podcast.
Yes.
So you can check that off your list now.
It's never too late.
It's never too late to be on a podcast.
That's right.
So I want to start by you two. When was the first time you two met or worked together?
Well, Larry called me in the summer, I believe it was the summer of 1971. I just graduated from high school. I went to St. Edmunds, and Larry, of course, was over at Fort Dodge High. And so my mother, I think, relayed the message to me, and I said, "Who the hell's that?" She says, "Well, he's an instructor over at Fort Dodge High." I said, "I don't think I know him." So I got a hold of you, and he said, "Well, they were going to Leadville, Colorado, for this. They did a summer, and they were going to do 2 shows." Carousel and Paint Your Wagon. And Carousel, I was Enoch Snow Jr., which is a junior part. I was a young. Rachel was my... Vandermaten was one of my little sisters. And then I was Edgar P. Crocker in Paint Your Wagon, which is like a part this big. And those are the kind of parts you get when you're not very good and you're kind of young.
I get started.
And then that's how I met him. And then I've done quite a few shows since then.
Wow, yes.
Yeah, you guys have a long Comedia history together, for
not
sure.
as many shows as him, but I've done quite a few myself.
Yes, you have. So we're going to get into some of these specifics here in a little bit, Larry, but give us the quick version of your background. College, first job, moving here.
All right.
And
Well, I was a farm boy, and when I graduated from high school, I wanted to be a veterinarian because I loved animals and wasn't so wild about the crops. And so I decided to do that, so I went to Iowa State. And while I was there, I got involved in music with Bob McCowan, who became legendary as a fine choral director and a big fella, so he was a good image for young men. And so I was there a couple of years and decided I spent more time in the music room than I did in the lab, so I decided I better change majors. Couldn't stay there because there was no major in that time in music.
Oh, wow.
So I went to ISTC, or now University of Northern Iowa.
Iowa Teachers College. Yep.
And there it was a good move because there I got under the influence of Jane Burkhead and Harold Holst, who were really good at musical theater, operas and musicals and operettas. And they just kind of unleashed my interest and talent in that field. And so graduated from there, and then I went to Orange High, junior and senior high. It's right outside south of Waterloo at that time. I think it's closed now, but it was a good place to start, and I started the musical there. And we did, I was there 7.5 years. We did 6 shows, and junior and senior high. And then applied for that job, got it, and applied for this job and got it, and I've applied for 2 jobs, I guess.
And you have 100% success rate.
Yeah, pretty lucky there, and was here for 31 years.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. And while you were here, you also started Comedia Musica Players, the official name.
Yeah, and I. When I came, I had the Civic Glee Club because Don Walker was my predecessor, and he had the Civic Glee Club, and it was well established. It's a good singing group.
Yeah.
Kind of based on the style of the Luboff and that kind of singer, and but there was no place for adults to do musicals. They had a good Hawkeye Theater was then going, and that was good. But it was plays, you know.
Sure.
And so, a few guys from the Civic Glee Club said, "Why don't we go?" And so where do you start? The Fantastics.
Okay.
And that's what we did. And so we got members of the Glee Club and got started there.
Okay.
That's how we got going. That was I was here in the summer of '66, and we started that in the fall of '68, and did their first show.
So you dove right in. You dove right into the
And
community.
it was music. It was a dinner theater, and that was kind of a new thing at the time, and so that was kind of fun to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
At the Starlight.
I mean, it's so cool to come into a town and be like, well, you don't have this thing that I want to do, and let's just start it.
Yep,
Let's just
we're
find a
gonna
way to
make it.
start it. I love that.
Yep. What was each of your, and we're going to talk a lot about Comedia too and your contributions to that over the years, and as well as Fort Dodge Senior High. But what was either of your very first theater experience? Ever? Do you
Well, I was a sophomore in high school, and I was running track, and it was cold outside.
Don't laugh, Larry, when he says I was running track.
That's what I did. I played football and track, and I was running through the hallways of St. Edmunds High School because it was too cold. We couldn't be outside. And they had tryouts going for My Fair Lady. And
I remember.
Somebody kept running, and I'd run by, and they'd be going into the auditorium and trying out, and somebody goes, "You should try." I said, I've never done that kind of thing. I don't know anything about it. So I went in and tried out, though. And they said, "Well, here, read this." And I did a few things. They said, "Can you do an English accent?" I said, "I don't know. I can try." And so they gave me the part, and I read, and it goes, "There, you silly girl. Who's hurting you? Who's hurting you? Oh, shut up. Shut up." And I get done with that, and they go, "Oh, that was pretty good. Can you sing?" I said, "Well, I've never really sang." But my folks like to listen to musicals, and we happened to had that record at home of My Fair Lady, and they put on I've Grown Accustomed to His Face. I've grown accustomed to your face, like breathing out and breathing in, and I did that, and I thought, well, that's good. And they said maybe I can get a part in the chorus. I'm fine. And then went back out and started running again. And so the next day they called me in and they said, Buzz, would you like to take a part? I said, sure. What part? I'll do something. I've never done this, but I'll do it. He said, well, it's Professor Henry Higgins. And I said, okay, that's fine. I didn't think anything of it. So all these seniors who thought that they were going to get the part of Professor Henry Higgins, now they're like, who's this asshole? Sophomore, and he's got the lead in the play. This is crap. So that's how I started out.
I know I started at the top.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest roles in musical comedy.
It's yeah, I remember that. I saw that show.
Singing with an accent?
Yes,
Wild.
it was really bad.
As bad as you might think it would be, you do not want to hear what my English accent would sound like.
But you didn't know you could do it, and it made you learn something new.
It was pretending, just like you do in life.
Yeah.
Just pretending.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Well, he was one of the most versatile actors we've had. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when you did Bill Sykes.
Yes, that
he's
was
so good at comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bill Sykes is a real
He's not comic,
heavy
yeah.
part, and he kept, one night he started to improvise on a rehearsal, comedy in Bill Sykes.
No.
Buzz, don't you do that. I know you're used to comedy. This is drama. Cut it out. And so from then on, he was
Yeah, I
fine.
did it.
But
Played-
he was
played it
great
straight,
Bill Sykes,
yeah.
too. I mean, he does it all.
Was Buzz a challenge to direct?
No, not a challenge, a joy.
Buzz answered for
No,
himself?
really.
Yeah.
No, he really was. Well, he knew when to quit.
Right.
And he knew when to have fun and when not to have fun. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was always business when he needed to be. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very well.
What was your first?
Well, we did in high school a little operetta called Chonita.
Okay.
And I ended up doing the lead in that, and it was based on Franz Lehar's music, and it was a cute little gypsy number.
Okay.
You know, it certainly wasn't a big name show, but it was kind of a clever show, and that was my first experience. Then later on, that year I did a dramatic reading and got to go to the state contest, the Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe. That was really fun to do.
Oh, wow.
You know.
I love seeing the parallels of people that do plays and musicals and then speech competitions as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that.
That's so cool.
You
That
were
was
in
fun.
speech also? You were in speech also?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was
Yeah,
thinking of a different.
No, I get it.
And I did a one-act play in speech. I forgot about that.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a kind of a nice show, and I can't remember the title right now, but it was a drama, two-person show.
Okay.
Whoa.
How about directing? What was the first for each of you? Yeah.
Well, for me, why not do something easy?
Oh, geez.
Carousel. Why did I do Carousel? Because I thought I could, I guess, but it wasn't awful. And it wasn't great, but it was my small school, and I'd seen it done really badly at a college not too far away, and I'm not going to mention it. And I thought, I can do better than that with my kids. So we gave it a whirl, and parts of it were quite good, but it's a tough show.
Yeah.
It was always a tough show, and I waded right in, and that wasn't a real smart thing to do, but then my next show was Where's Charlie, which was a fun Frank Lesser show. It's,
Okay. I'm not
Once in
familiar
Love
with
with Amy is in it, and My Darling, they're nice old Frank Lesser songs.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Buzz?
What, directing?
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. I think it was probably a straight play. I directed for Comedia. I did Annie a few years ago. Quite a few years ago, I guess.
That was the first year I played.
Was it? Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
I didn't remember you directed.
Yeah, you know, so there.
Okay, well, I don't even know you.
These drama kids, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad I'm on the end.
Yeah, and then let's see, I did something at Hawkeye. I don't know. There's been a few over the years. You know, I don't direct because I'd rather do it. But
Sure.
I'm getting too old to do it anymore. My memory isn't as good as it once was, and it's hard to memorize. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I did what was the name of that show? Cash on Delivery. We just did recently, which was quite good. And again, I didn't direct that, of course. God, I don't know.
Do you prefer being on stage as opposed to
I like
directing?
being on stage. I still do. I don't not so much because it makes me very nervous anymore because my memory is not as good as it once was. It used to be really easy to memorize the parts.
You were good at it.
Yeah, and it was. It's not like that anymore. I can still do it, but it just takes a lot of work. And
Sure.
I'm retired, and I don't really like to work.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
But you're good at off the cuff. I mean, you always know the idea of what you're supposed to be saying. So it's not like you changed the direction of the show.
It's around the things that they said, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Plays and musicals they can be very difficult, and they take a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, Mitch put a lot of work in for years and years on that, more than I would ever do. I don't mind it, but I just don't want to do
Yeah.
it forever.
Yeah. How about, I assume I know your answer to this, but how about you? Would you rather be on stage or directing?
I'd rather direct and conduct both. I
Yeah.
like to do both.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forget that you also conducted all of those.
Is it possible to do both at the same time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, be on stage and direct?
Direct, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that I'm assuming
Oh,
that's
yeah.
more difficult.
I did that a lot.
Wow.
And sometimes when you're on stage and you see something that happened that you wish you had corrected or
Yeah.
you want to correct, and you're there and you hope you don't show that to the audience that you're thinking on something else. And then when you get off, you make a note, and then you go back on stage. And next time you say next time we have to do it.
The hardest part about that is remembering that you thought, oh, I knew I should have had him turn this way and say this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but then when you get off, you think, I got to break. Don't forget this.
I remember one time when we were doing 1776, I was directing and doing Edward Rutledge from South Carolina. He's the one that kept slavery out of the Declaration of Independence. Otherwise, he wouldn't join. And so I remember, and it was a fun part because and you were in it, and the audience would be the audience plus the guys in the Continental Congress, and I was supposed to say, Mr. President, South Carolina has never considered the idea of slavery or something of that nature. And what did I do that night? And it was a performance. And I said, Mr. President, South Carolina has always considered the part of slavery. And I could just hear the gasp on stage from these guys like, what the hell's going to happen now?
We just changed history.
Yeah.
And I said, however, and got back on board somehow. And I could just see all the relax of the guys. But, oh, my God, I thought they just whooshed right out of the... Wow. I know. Of course, the audience didn't know because they didn't know what the line was.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
They sure did.
We don't give them scripts.
Right. Right.
For that very reason.
Thank goodness.
When we were doing that show, the first time we did it, I was the page, and my main job was to turn these calendars over here.
Yeah.
Was to move the calendar thing. That was my first time that I did it. And then I think I did that one more time. And then the next time I did it, I was John Adams when Higgins directed it, which is probably one of the great parts. And
That's a great
that's a
part.
wonderful show.
It
It's
is.
just one of my favorite shows.
Me
of all
too.
time. Just love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun. What favorite? That was going to be my next question, but it is within the Comedia realm. What has been your favorite production?
Me or?
Both of you.
Oh,
Whoever
we'll let
would like
Mitch
to
go
start.
first this
I'm
time.
thinking.
Oh, you're thinking? Well, let me say. I'll say I really enjoyed doing Young Frankenstein. Was one of my favorites. I liked Evita was fun. I just was in the chorus during that. I'll tell you, it was one of the funny when we were doing Evita and we were doing it out at Starlight. Remember, which was a nightmare. Because
Logistically.
it's just hard to do it. But we had no place to change clothes, so it was me and Mike McCurdy. We were in the chorus, and we had to change because we were, there's always a problem getting men to do the show, so you're doubling and tripling some
Sure.
of the parts. So I'm in the chorus, and we had to change our clothes. So we just jump out into the lobby, And we're changing our clothes, and we're down, like, we're throwing this clothes around, getting stuff on. We're there in our underwear and socks, and we look over, there's this family checking in. We're in a play in here. I just put this on, then I'll go in.
Yeah.
God, I'll never forget that. Look at these
Okay,
people.
that's funny. Where are we?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the Starlight used to be hopping too, so like I'm sure that traveled around. Some people heard about that.
Oh God, it was a nightmare.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, I'd say, well, Evita I really enjoyed, and have John Hagen, who became a Texas tenor in it, that was really something. And but a show that I thought probably technically and everything all around was one of our very finest was Man of La Mancha.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful show.
And Terry Goodman came back to La Mancha, and your sister was a wonderful Aldanza.
Yep.
And it was just from start to finish, one of our very best. And in the high school, I had enjoyed doing Naughty Marietta, my last one, because it went back to our roots of operetta.
Sure.
Because that's how we started. And they did operettas for years. And we won't get into the explanation between the two because we don't have time for that, but difference between a musical and an operetta. But, Hello Dolly was a big one because we had to do an extra performance. Even though we were in the Fair Oaks gym.
Yeah.
And we filled it 4 nights for 1,000 people a night.
Wow. That's what I was going to say. You added it because you needed.
We needed that.
Okay.
We had people wanting to come, and so we did it. It was very early on when they released it, so we were lucky there. We had an extraordinary Dolly with Donna Johnson as our Dolly.
She was great.
And really great
Yeah.
cast, and everything
Really
worked
talented.
really well.
She's gone now too.
Yeah.
He's passed, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
guess you might as well enjoy this now because we're not going to be around much longer.
wow.
And with that, see you next time.
Yes. No, I feel like this is at least the second time Man of La Mancha has been brought up in the series of this
Oh, really?
podcast. At least, because I've heard it before, but I've never seen it. So
it's
now
wonderful.
I got to put it on the list.
It's a fabulous show.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I got it.
The movie is not doesn't
no.
do it
Noted.
justice.
They killed the movie by putting the wrong person in the lead.
Well,
That's
why would you guys
Opening.
have a guy who couldn't sing in the?
Yeah, and then they said, well, we could dub his voice in with a great singer because they wouldn't believe that guy
would
could
be
sing. you know.
Oh wow.
That was
Oh
terrible.
dear.
All right.
Richard Kiley was still operating.
and he was
then.
relatively young too. I mean,
And he
at
was
that
young
time, yeah.
then, yeah, when he could sing and stuff.
I just never could understand it
I
because
never
it's
can.
such a great show.
Well, they almost screwed up the Music Man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Meredith
'cause-
Wilson wouldn't have stood his ground and had it in his contract. He had to approve it. They weren't going to put Preston in the movie.
As Hill.
Can you imagine not
Yeah,
putting
the guy
Preston
who owned
in?
it. I mean, he was that part.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
like
can't
quit
imagine
saying,
that.
well, we got Yul Brynner available, but let's try somebody else for The King and I. No.
Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris says.
Interesting take.
Yeah. I don't know why he came to mind, but
That's
he
awesome.
did. How about, and I know that, Buzz, you need to take off soon because he is a director right now, currently right now, but I'm
Yes.
going to do one more here, and then we'll let you jet, because this is one of my favorite ones. Embarrassing moments in theater for you. Or whether it was to you personally or as the director, seeing it happen on stage and going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Well, one of the ones was with Heidi Nelson in Camelot. I don't know if Mitch even knows about that.
Probably not.
Well, we had the scrim was going to go up. I think it's the beginning of the second act, and we marched on, in our regal outfits, and we're in knights and ladies and stuff. And as a scream, when they have a scrim, it has a great big pipe that runs through it, to keep it stretched out. And so Heidi's standing there, and we're all standing, and this pipe is going up. We're getting ready to march on, and it catches her right on their big formal gown, right at the edge, and starts pulling it up like this. And we're over there, and we look at this, and we start. And of course, instead of reacting and going, I'll just pull this off, everyone starts laughing.
Of course. Of course, like children.
Everyone's,
No.
and she's over there going, oh no. And it's getting up, and it's like over her head like this now. And finally, it just rips off and just goes flying up. And she's just, oh my God, why didn't somebody help me? We started laughing.
Because we were frozen in laughter.
We couldn't stop laughing. That was really embarrassing for her, but not for me.
Yeah, those are the stories I love. How about you?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, not real graphic ones like you're saying, but I was trying to think as he was talking, and I got to thinking, no, I
About that, yeah.
That was one you probably didn't want to know about.
There were a lot of things. Well, one of them which was kind of embarrassing, and we were on tour and we're doing Shenandoah, and I was sitting there with I think it was Mark Sampson was my son, and we're having a scene, and we were on a strange stage we really didn't know, and it was kind of small and everything, but we were getting by, and the gal was supposed to come in for the next scene. Couldn't get through the door. She couldn't find the right door because it was, it wasn't a real stage. It was kind of like, you know what I mean?
Just making it
so
work.
we're sitting there and we're chatting away, trying to wait, and she comes busting in just like that.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, and but you just try to keep composure and go,
That's the whole thing. You have to keep going.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out how to keep the whole show flowing along with it. Okay. So, you said you were at senior high for 41 years.
31 years.
Or 31 years. Okay. And this year is their 99th musical. And you were a part of a third.
Basically a third of them.
Of all of those. And this is correct, right? Fort Dodge Senior High has the longest running.
We think so.
Okay.
And we've said it, and it's been in print, and no one's disputed it, so we think it is. And even the COVID year, they had one announced.
Yep.
And most people just eliminate that year. Well, they concluded because they couldn't do it, obviously. No one could. No one could do anything.
Well, they would have been in rehearsal, I think, at the time when everything
I think so.
shut down. So that counts.
It counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next year's 100, and I hope I'm around for that. I'd love to see what they're going to do and be part of the celebration if possible.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you're going to be, Larry.
It's going to be packed. I wonder if they were going to bring back any veterans of the stage or anything like that.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
There's going to be a lot of people in the crowd for that. I know there is.
Yeah, it'll be quite a deal.
What is the biggest difference for you, looking back, between the high school musical theater program and Comedia, directing in those two different positions? Like, one I can think of just from my own experience is kids now are in a million things, a million activities. So scheduling and being at rehearsal, that's one of the challenges, I think, in the education system. And that's kind of a similar challenge in community theater as well. Lives are busy, committing to that. So that's one thing that I can come up with. But from the director standpoint, or casting or picking show, I don't know, it could be...
Yeah, there are myriad things that go on.
Yeah.
We still had a lot of problem with scheduling then too, but the people, they have to be really committed. And some years you've got kids that are just so committed and they're so excited and stuff, and then maybe some other years not so much.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of a toss-up as to what goes on. Casting, you've got to keep in mind your talent level. you can pick the wrong show and you can be dead in the water.
Right.
And then you got to be sure when you cast that you give plenty and plenty of time so that some person doesn't get overlooked that would be very good and didn't get a good chance. I always say I want to give everybody a chance, even if they're not even close to being that part. They get to read the same part, sing the same songs as the people that are really good at it.
Sure.
So that's always something like that. And it's just a talent. It's just a challenge because they're difficult.
Yeah.
There's nothing easy about doing musical theater.
No, there's not.
And they're expensive. Mm-hmm. But nowadays they've got a lot of, and we used to build our own scenery all the time. Now they've got projected scenery, which helps a lot. And it's just a different thing. I would like to see more performing of the classical shows, the 60s shows that are the Hello Dollies and My Fair Ladies and Funny Girls and all these shows that were wonderful shows, Music Man. Mm-hmm. And you can do, I think it's wise to do a contemporary one occasionally, but not all the time. Mm-hmm. And people like to go to a show where they know the music.
Yeah, that's true.
And Carl King used to say if he goes to a band concert and he can't whistle the tune when he leaves, any tune when he leaves, it's not a worthwhile concert.
Right.
Well, it's sort of like that with musical theater. When you can't leave, if you can't hum a tune or two, it doesn't seem like it was a worthwhile night. To me,
sure.
Anyhow.
Well, and I think that there's more creation, like there's just more productions coming out more often than there used to be as well. It just seems like every year there's...
Yeah, and some of them don't run very long. And there's a reason for that.
That's true, too.
They weren't that good. but yet, they get performed.
Right. Or they had someone that believed enough to fund it for them.
Yeah.
Well, and that was one of my questions that I wanted to bring up, too, is the trend. How do you see that the trends in theater have changed over the years? And you mentioned projections. That's been a big one to alleviate some sets. Yeah.
Well, in my book, especially women, have you seen Wicked?
Yep.
They can't sing. They scream. In my book.
Yeah.
And I had a session with Robert Larson. We were talking. He was a founder of the Metro Opera down in Des Moines. And he says, "Oh, you saw Wicked." I had my program. He says, "Oh, you saw Wicked too?" And I says, "Yeah." He says, "Man, what'd you think?" I says, "I can't sing very well." "Yes, Larry," he says, "and if they keep that up, they're going to lose their voices." And the men better, but the women, they've got kind of a screech, kind of a driven screech sound to it. And it's not very pleasant in my ear.
Sure.
And I don't think they have the great singers like they used to. Even in professional theater, the Howard Keels and the Catherine Graysons and those kind of people, you don't hear them.
The
much.
style
and the style of the show has changed.
Yeah, a lot.
It's not as melodic as it once was. It's, I don't know. It's more rhythmic, I guess, which is okay, but you can't remember any songs. Yeah. I can't anyhow.
I can understand what you're saying for sure, because it is. It's a different technique with singing, completely different than when we were trained classically. Opera, I was trained in opera, and so I felt like that base gave me the tools to be able to sing different styles. Whereas if people are only trained in kind of that pop, I think that doesn't carry over as
that's the deal, because you can be classically trained and then you can lighten your voice to a more popular sound. I just heard a great concert, John Hagen from the Texas Tenors. He would sing opera and he would sing musical theater. Then he would sing something very popular and lighten up just because he's got an operatic voice.
Sure.
He's a tenor. And he just, he sell the song.
Yeah.
But he didn't change his technique, so he didn't tighten his throat like some of the women do and stuff, especially women. men too, some. But yeah, you know, and it works. But if you go the other way, you can't go from screech to beautiful.
Right.
This might sound ignorant on my part. Okay,
I'd like to hear from you.
Here we go. Do you think that's like the character they're going for, singing that way, being it wicked, or are you seeing that across more musicals in the modernity because of just the way that people singing has changed?
In general.
I think it's a little of both.
Little of both.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were just talking about when we did 1776. My Ben Franklin comes in and he starts singing the song, and he's had this beautiful bass baritone voice, you know. And I said, wait a minute, they're not going to believe Ben Franklin sounds like that. So what did he do? He lightened it up, perfectly in tune and believable.
Right.
Okay.
So it works. But I don't know, it's just... you hear it all the time, people trying to sing the national anthem. Good Lord.
Good example, though. That is a good example, though, because we've all heard the ones where we're like, interesting take, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
That's about what you say, interesting.
Well, I can't sing any of it, so I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus because I can't sing at all, so.
With the national anthem, it's the tempo that gets it for me.
Oh, yeah.
If they start... say I just am like, oh gosh.
I actually looked this up recently. Some of it I've found is national anthem at ballparks and things like that. They're trying to time it with a flyover,
Okay.
and sometimes they don't know.
Maybe
Sometimes they
that's
don't know the flyover is going to be late until somebody gives them a signal, and so then they have to slow it down and start stretching notes out and
Well,
things like that.
Be.
Oh.
I've heard that that's like what happens, especially at the end if they get really, really long-winded. So you go watch the video to see if you can see the flyover timed with it, because they
Okay.
can't fly the planes any faster, you know?
Possibility.
Yeah, I never had to worry about that at Little League games when I was singing.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw in Whitney Houston is still my favorite national anthem.
Oh, so good.
But anyway, what are you most proud of, Larry, when it comes to your time at Fort Dodge Senior High?
I guess I'd have to say that the number of students that have not only gone on in the business, but that are active in their communities, in musicals and choruses and church choirs. And it's so heartening to see, I was in the choir in college and high school, and then I decided to go on to college, and by golly, I'm now singing in a choral society in my town. Or whatever, or just graduate from high school and decide they're going to join the church choir.
Yeah.
I didn't really think that I was going to create that many, although it turned out differently, that many in the business, but I was wanting desperately to make people aware of their opportunities in the communities where they live.
Yeah.
And when I hear them come back and say, oh, yeah, I do this and I do that, I think, oh, hallelujah. You know? Of course, most of them now are retired. You know, I've been out a while.
Well, it's so fun. You passed your love of this on to other people.
Hundreds and thousands of people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
I still reference the book you wrote, your musical theater guide. When I was teaching in high schools, I referenced that a lot. That was so useful.
Thank
and
you.
I wish you had like version 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9
I
for
did.
all the shows.
Yeah. Well, I did 6 versions. The 6th one was published by the publishing company down in Cedar Rapids. And I included a lot more shows for the middle school and upper elementary. But it's been pretty successful. A few thousand were sold. And
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I've had some good feedback. One fellow says, well, when I'm going to do my musical, I just get out your book and set it on my music stand. You know, and that's awfully nice to hear.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But,
and it breaks down the parts, the voice parts. Like, it just gives you all the tools that you need initially to consider when you're picking a show.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you think makes the Fort Dodge theater specifically, or you can broaden that to just arts in general, makes the Fort Dodge scene unique?
When I first came, there was more than there is now. They had both barber shoppers, male and female. They had the Civic Glee Club and things like that. But Fort Dodge has always been pretty much a musical town, it sounds to me. Carl King, of course, did a lot for that. And then a fellow by the name of J. Howard Orth that came along, and he got the musical going. It was started by the orchestra director, Lucille Corey, for 3 years, and then he took it over and went 13, and he did the big operettas and things. So that was a good start, and of course, and he was the first director of the Glee Club, Civic Glee Club, which no longer exists, unfortunately. But so I think we've always been pretty much a musical town. Unfortunately, I think we should have built a really outstanding auditorium out at the high school for years ago.
Yeah.
We did 22 years in the gymnasium of Fair Oaks.
Gym cafetorium.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, it wasn't that, but it was close.
Yeah.
But it had a good size stage, and we could fly at small things. We had to build our own fly loft, though.
Yeah.
Equipment up there. But it was a gym, and it echoed like a gym, smelled like a gym. Yeah, definitely smelled like a gym. And so, but I always thought we were going to get one. We didn't. And of course, they have one now out at the middle school. But you still have to, as a high school, you have to go out there and you have to schedule, make sure. It seems to me they should have put one at the high school years and years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
A real effective one with an orchestra pit, a fly loft, wing space, place to build your sets.
Yeah, especially to the scale of the productions that they do.
And the thing of it is, that's another thing that's changed. The old operettas were usually 1 and 2 set. You do Act 1 in one set, maybe Act 2 with another, or a little change in Act 3. But the most you'd have is 3 sets.
Yeah.
Now they're just all, they're within the acts you got various things.
Right.
And that's, another thing that's made it, and they're so much bigger and grander than they were built for, and when they built the stages and the auditoriums in the old days.
Yeah, I mean, lighting's different. A lot of stuff is different.
Yeah. And then our projected scenery, as we mentioned earlier, too.
Yeah. I remember when Fort Dodge Fine Arts was just getting into their discussions about working on Phillips Auditorium. You were the first person I called just to get some feedback on the space. And I remember you commenting that the acoustics in there, the natural acoustics in there, were something that you really enjoyed about that space.
It could be. It was a little dead, but it was much better than some. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that show you guys had there just this, a couple weeks ago was really, really good. I do want to say that I did go to that, the writers round thing.
I was going to try to talk to you longer, but I got distracted by
there was a lot of people there, actually.
There
so understandable that you were a little distracted.
Like, where do I need to be been?
Exactly.
Okay, so we were kind of winding down here a little bit. So what's something, Larry, that about theater that the audience maybe doesn't realize is really difficult?
Ooh, I love this question.
Oh,
and he didn't get these ahead of time, so.
No, yeah, think a little.
When you say the
At
audience,
my age, you have to think a lot.
When you say the audience, I feel like you're talking about me, because
when Peter's sitting out there, what does he not think?
I have no frame of reference for any of this other than I can't do most of it. What am I missing?
You just haven't done it yet.
Hey, oh gosh.
Yep, I got plans.
Oh no.
Well, we hit on it some earlier. I don't think the audience generally appreciates the enormous amount of time and numbers of people it takes to mount a show.
Yeah.
The time is, we always consider about 10 weeks. So I usually had a week or 2 of auditions. Some people do it in a couple, 3 days, but you miss people that way, I think. And so, and they also learn they learn the. You'd be surprised how many, when you do a scene over and over again for auditions, all once when you start to stage it, all you have to do is stage it, and they've already got the dialogue.
Right.
So
That's true.
it's partly learning the part as well. And some of them will memorize the part before the audition.
Yeah.
Wow.
They
I
get
love
so
those.
excited about it. But it takes an enormous amount of time and care and detail and a lot of work behind the scenes. When we were doing our shows, we'd have outstanding people for the costume, for lighting, for different people, for makeup, for props.
Sure.
Publicity.
Yep.
And you know, you just have to-
Fundraising.
yeah, fundraising. Yeah, for sure. And it just takes a lot of people power. You say manpower, but that's probably not.
Wow.
it's
I know what you
people
mean.
power.
People power. I like that. Yeah.
I mean, you brought up the cost of this too. Like that's something. The first time I was introduced to the cost of like what
and
deployment
the
is,
cost.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of staggering. To think.
Michael
Right.
Eagle down at the Civic Opera down in Indianola always quotes, I think it's Voltaire. I can't remember who it was. He says, "Of all the arts, opera is the most expensive." That goes for musical theater as well.
It does. It does. Well, and then you also want to, we have some really seasoned people that we can use for creative teams, and you want to compensate them and make it worth their time because it is such a commitment.
Yes.
And then we didn't even mention the challenges that can go on with that. If you're rehearsing in the winter, you may have 5 days that just get canceled because of snowstorm or travel or, even sickness can go
Yeah.
through a cast and really screw up your plans for a week. So I think that's a good answer. Okay, so I have a couple little fun things here, and then I'm going to end with one last question. But I always try to do some little quick fire things.
We need a graphic
this
for
I'm not
this.
looking forward to.
You will survive, I promise. Opening night nerves. Do you get them or do you not get them?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm always excited.
Okay.
And it's more excitement than worry. I think, well, it's all done. Let's see what happens. And
Yep.
and I'm just so anxious to get out there and get going. when the let's say when I'm conducting them, when the spotlight comes on and I start walking out, I think, hallelujah, here we go.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So this would be if you were on stage, would you memorize your part early or memorize your part last minute?
Oh, early.
I knew you were gonna say that.
As early as I can. I'm no last minute guy. I need to have it burned in.
Okay.
Everything about it burned in.
Yeah. Stage kiss, awkward or fun?
Awkward mostly, I guess.
I agree.
I would agree with that.
Kind of depends on who you're kissing, of course.
It definitely depends on who you're kissing. Biggest pet peeve backstage?
Ooh.
Noise.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, noise.
Whispering can be so noisy,
Oh, yeah.
and it's almost worse than talking sometimes.
Yeah. Any kind of disruption backstage is just inexcusable because you can't, the audience is going to pick up on it immediately.
Oh, they might think it's part of the play.
Maybe, but
Probably
usually
not.
it's not. No, unless it said
That'd be
rumble.
nice, but I don't think so.
No.
I remember one time I forgot we're doing I Do, and part of Michael just talks and talks and talks, and she says, "Oh, really, Michael?" And then he says something else, and it's, "Oh, really, Michael? I didn't know that." And then he says some more. So he's got a lot of dialogue compared to the lady. So we did the show out at the college, and I think I dropped about a page and a half of dialogue, something like that, and got in. And one of my very best students who went on to do quite a bit, Mark Christopher, and he was kind of a theater nerd, and he comes, he says, Mr. Mitchell, he says, boy, how can you memorize all that? That was wonderful. You have been learning all that and memorizing. I didn't have the heart to tell him I dropped a page and a half of dialogue.
No, that's when you take Weston Noble's advice and just say thank you.
That's right. You say thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you
didn't
very
say
much.
a word, right? Except thank you.
The last little quick fire one we've already touched on, and I know what you're going to say. It was going to be old classics or modern shows, but old classics for
old
you.
Classics.
Yeah.
I just and mainly it's the music.
Yeah.
And the style of singing.
Yeah.
I like how you described it earlier. It's like more rhythmic now than it was melodic then.
It's
And I never would have thought of that unless you actually said it, because now that I'm thinking about it, it makes sense, you know?
Well, and even the instrumentation has changed quite
right.
Yep.
quite a bit
All the
too.
electronic sounds and screechy sounds instead of beautiful violins, you know.
Can be.
okay,
It can be.
But to me, the music is so important that if you can sing it and you can remember it, then it's worthwhile. And you have novelty songs, throwaway songs, but they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
But you know, like we were saying, if you do a show that's only run about 2 weeks on Broadway, there might be a reason for that, and isn't that good? You know?
It very well could be. It also could be that's how long they rented the space. But you're right. I mean, if it's making money, they want to keep it there longer.
Yeah.
I need to throw this little tidbit in about Buzz as we talk about remembering lines
Now
and
that
things
he's
like
not
that.
here.
Now that he's not here. No, this is actually a compliment. So I'm glad he's not here to hear it. But you know, I always, whenever I'm been accompanying a show or anything that I've been a part of, there's always a little bit of comfort in knowing that Buzz is around. Because if something does go wrong on stage during a performance, he's so creative. He can think of a way, even if it's not his role, his line, his part, but he can think of a way to get everybody back on track.
I love that.
And I can't give you a specific right now, but I've witnessed it a lot. And yeah, he can just throw something in there that gets everybody right back on
I
track.
love that. So somebody misses a line and everyone just kind of looks at each other and Buzz just goes, meh. And then
Yeah,
all of a
well,
sudden
maybe you want to ask Harold Hill what he thinks.
So great.
But yeah,
That's so great.
to kind of cue them back into their line.
I could just see him coming out with a newspaper. Look at this article I just saw.
And it's the script.
The script is in it or something. That's beautiful. Love you, Buzz.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope he doesn't hear that part. Okay, lastly, Larry, what do you want your legacy to be in Fort Dodge?
Well, I guess to keep the committee going, because I started that, and to be remembered as someone who worked hard and tried to develop the students and the people, even the committee people, into good performers and entertain people, and had my, I guess, I did the best I could.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Because everything that you just listed are things that I would describe if somebody asked what Larry did in Fort Dodge.
Well, thank you.
So, that was very Weston Noble of you. But yeah, no, there's a lot of people that know your name and will always know your name. And you really paved the way for a lot of future organizations in Fort Dodge to be able to get supported. And you helped lay the groundwork, I think, in a lot of ways for our community to understand why not only musical theater, but why the arts are important and why they are a part of our lives
Thank you.
in the area.
You've been brought up many times on this podcast,
Yes, you
to the
have.
point where I know your name and we've never met each other until
Met till
today.
today.
And I knew who you were. I didn't know you had such a great head of hair. I love that too. I've got nothing. That's why I'm wearing hats. This has just been absolutely amazing. This has solidified to me why everyone speaks so highly of you. You've got great stories. You're well educated in what you've done. You've helped the community out immensely, and your legacy is going to live on because I know that because I'm not even from here, and I know who you are, and that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
All right, that's all the questions we got?
This is a good place to end it.
All right. So this has been absolutely amazing. If you guys are looking for anything FDT related, it's on the Fort Dodge Fine Arts social media pages, on their website. Go there, check out the community calendar. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. The YouTube just went over 100 subscribers recently, I believe. So we're getting there, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to all the episodes. If there's any of the old episodes you loved, share them with your friends. If there's somebody you want to hear from in a future episode, hit up Shelly.
Yep.
See what she says. She wrangles these together. She does a beautiful job getting the questions. I just want to say thank you for doing this, Shelly. I really do appreciate, again, opening my eyes to the community and the people here that are doing the great things. So thank you very much.
Thank
Sure
you.
is.
Thank you very much. Shine on.
Come on in, sit next to me. Tell me how you been and spill a little tea. Share a happy grin and let your mind go free. Everybody wins, keep it light and carefree. It's just a thoughtful exchange. We're engaging our brains about the arts here in town. Get the word going round. So come on in, sit next to me, and sip a little Fort Dodge tea. Fort Dodge tea, a thoughtful exchange about the arts. Thanks for dropping by.